Give me liberty or give me death, said Martinsville, Virginia's favorite son, Patrick Henry. Today we give liberty to the lovely sounds of horsepower here at the half-mile paperclip in Southern Virginia. After a week off, J.R. Shepard looks to continue his march to championship glory, but a native Virginian in James Lowe is looking for a win in front of his home state fans. And with hard chargers like Justin Morton, Brian Dean, and many, many more, we're looking for a war here in Henry County. I'm Chris Foby, and joining me tonight will be Jeff Smith. At the control center is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Martinsville, Virginia is known for its tight turns and aggressive racing, so we will take a quick look at what goes into a perfect lap here at the half mile of mayhem for the Bootleg Racing League.
Welcome to a piece of racing history. The Martinsville Speedway in South Central Virginia opened before NASCAR was even founded, and it is one of the sport's original tracks. Its paperclip shaped half mile has grown from a dusty pioneer to a beautiful racing facility. Going off of the paperclip nickname, Martinsville is two 12-degree banked corners attached to two 800-foot-long straights. Getting out of these corners is all about managing the rear tires sliding around. It often feels like you're coming out of a valley as you head onto the straights. Martinsville is very much a rhythm-based racetrack though, some even referring to it as a rocking chair. You get that sensation because you want to feel the front of the car slam down under braking and then lift back up under acceleration. Making things even more complicated is the fact that the track is only 55 feet wide. Down in the corners, you'll find that yellow curve. It's elevated off the track by several feet, and if you catch it with those left side tires, you're bound to grab a handful of steering wheel. All of the action isn't on the track, however. The pit road that starts in the entry to turn 3 and exits out of turn 2 is only 46 feet wide itself, making pit road under caution look like a circus. Martinsville is not a track that you can rest on your laurels at. Always on top of the wheel is the name of the game. The drivers that do that best find themselves with a grandfather clock trophy. The fans come from all over, the drivers come from all over, even internationally, to race at the hallowed grounds. So settle in, buckle up, it's bound to be a great race.
All right, and that's what goes into making the best lap here at Martinsville Speedway. And to tell us a little bit more about the track, we're going to bring in our co-host tonight, Jeff Smith. Jeff, tell us what we can expect here tonight at Martinsville.
Yeah, Chris, we got a half mile of pure mayhem on any given night. This is a different track to try to drive because you have no banking. That 12 degrees feels like almost nothing. It's hard. If you get in here too quick and too fast, you're going to slide up and you're going to have troubles. And these guys with this tire and not having an extra set in the pits, it's going to be rough on them. They're really going to have to drive the track.
Yeah, with these tight paperclip-like corners, these drivers are going to really be struggling here when they are heavy on the brakes into the corners.
It takes so much to have that enough willpower not to get on the gas too quick, because if you get onto the gas too quick, you'll just drive it straight into the outside wall, and it could bear detrimental to your night.
Well, to give us a little bit more perspective on what we're going to experience here tonight at Martinsville, Mike Allen, driver of the number 59 car, is going to be joining us here. Mike's got a pretty good perspective on what we're seeing, and Mike, a native of South Boston, Virginia. Mike, thanks for joining us here during practice.
Yeah, how y'all doing tonight?
Good. Now, Mike, I see you out there. You put in a few laps. What's the track feeling like for you today?
It's loose in and loose off for me, so been struggling so far.
Now, how much are you worried about tire wear at a track like this, where you're so hard on it in the corners?
I think it's going to be pretty hard. I've had a hard time adjusting to this new tire model.
Now, what are some key points to this race that maybe we can keep an eye on as the time goes on, that maybe what some of you drivers are going through out there?
The main thing is just try to keep up with JR. But no, and I think tire wear is going to be the biggest deal. Try to keep the right front on it and the right rear.
Jeff, did you have any questions for Mike here?
Yeah, Mike, go get them, buddy. They just bear down. You'll adjust. We all know you will. Good job.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, thanks for joining us, Mike. That's Mike Allen, the number 59 car, the Clarence's Steakhouse machine. A native Virginian, so he'll be looking for a good performance here tonight. And speaking of a good performance, if you want to have a good performance on nailing a deal for your upcoming vacation once the world's done ending, we want to welcome our sponsor aboard, the Cruise Shop. They've been in operation since 1986. They are a team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. They specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation. Give them a call today at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams, one destination at a time. And the next destination on the list for many of these drivers is Championship Town. So we're going to take a quick look at our standings going into this event. J.R. Shepard on top of the rankings after James Lowe was conspicuous by his absence in our last event. That allowed Tim Shinosky to jump up into the second spot. Matt Shinosky, his relation there, not too far behind, tied for third with Justin Morton. And then Donnie Moore, 34 markers out of the top spot, running in the fifth spot. And also this race here at Martinsville, Jeff, is going to be a part of what they're calling the 2020 Moonshine Challenge. The top 5 drivers in today's race will accrue points. It's a season or a year-long battle between Martinsville Speedway and the upcoming North Wilkesboro Speedway. Right now, J.R. Shepard, unsurprisingly, is out in front of that battle, 10 points. So he's perfect so far in this challenge series. So drivers will accrue points in this one as well, going towards that 2020 Moonshine Challenge Championship. And
I'm pretty excited about North Wilkesboro. They're talking maybe the release in June, and that is absolutely amazing to see iRacing be able to get that around. You know, we just saw these guys down there cleaning it up in November, and now we're about to get it in June. So it's gonna be a really fun track to try to drive.
Yeah, definitely going to be a really cool addition to the service. And another proof of the value that iRacing has is not only allowing us to get as close to the real thing as far as racing goes, but it's also a chance to preserve our tracks that are maybe not long for life. And speaking of not long for life, the race details coming up, no tire changes allowed in this series. So for those of you watching, those tires will have to be saved. It's going to be a 100 lap distance. They are allowed one fast repair, and the lineups are set a little bit differently than what you see in most series. They do not qualify here in the Bootleg Racing League. They'll take our finish from the previous race, and then those top 8 finishers will be completely inverted. So the 8th place finisher from our event 2 weeks ago is going to be starting on the pole, and the winner will be starting 8th. So a little bit different here in the BRL Grand National Series, and we are finishing up practice here right now. J.R. Shepard is top of the charts with a 19.948. What are you expecting as we get headed towards this race, Jeff?
Yeah, these guys are gonna have to really take care of their tires, like Mike said, and like we've noted before. This track is so hard on tires because in order to carry the momentum in and carrying it off, you have to get in so quick. But if you are too quick to get on the gas, you're going to tear that right rear up, and you're just going to struggle most of the night. I just actually watched Mike Holloway slide through. That would have been 3 and 4 there, and you just can't be doing that because it's so hard on the tires. And these guys are gonna struggle late in the race if they continue to pull those moves.
Well, we see the seconds clicking down as practice has been completed. So we're going to move into our starting order here in just a moment. And starting on the pole tonight is going to be Justin Morton in car number 9 with a 44, and Jeffrey Harden to his outside. Matt Shinosky coming into the night third in the point standings will start inside of row number 2 with Brad Speidel to his outside. Brian Dean and Donnie Moore will compose row number 3 with J.R. Shepard and Robbie Robinson in row number 4. Todd Liston and Ruben Altice will complete your top 10.
Starting 11th to 9th, we got Lowell Jewell, the boss man. Beside him, Austin Belkey, Joe Segala, Bruce Pearson, Kurt Smith is 15th, Mike Allen, our pre-race interview is 16th, Chris Wolfson 17th, Jason Minda 18th, John Hine 19th, James Lowe, the big guy on campus, starts here 20th, missing that last race, and then Mike Holloway will round out your field tonight.
So 100 laps are the distance. The cars will be taken off here for some pace laps before we get things underway. Justin Morton starting on the pole. He has been pretty quick the last several weeks, Jeff. And you got to think starting up front at a track like this that's really known for one groove, and he's starting on the inside, that's got to be a huge advantage.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge advantage. If he can get away here early and get a little bit of a distance on him without tearing up his tires, he'll be smooth sailing for 100 laps tonight. It'll be really awesome.
Do want to make a quick note. One penalty from our race 2 weeks ago, Ruben Altice in the 11 car has been cited for over-aggressive driving. He did get a warning, so no punishment as of tonight, but he has been put on the naughty list. So we'll keep an eye on Ruben to see if maybe having that hanging over his head may make him tiptoe a little bit. But nonetheless,
Ruben's a good guy. He'll do a great job. I want the over-under on how long it takes Mr. Lowe to get through the field tonight. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, he was second in hot laps, so we'll see what he does in 100 laps here at a very physical track like Martinsville. As we come off of turn 4, green flag is out and we are underway. It looks like Justin Morton gonna get off to a great start. He makes it down to the bottom of the track. 44 of Jeffrey Harden and Matt Shinosky rocking a new paint scheme this week. Slots into the third spot. Now he goes to the inside of the 44 as they head through turns 3 and 4. Not much of a two-groove track, so look for Shinosky to have the pass completed as they get back to the line. And already a caution on the track.
This is out of the ordinary. Mr. Todd Liston goes around, so that's a little strange. It looks like he just got in there a little too hard, like I was talking about in pre-race, and he just got back in the gas way too quick and got tagged.
It looks like Donnie Moore may have made contact with him as well. Now you notice through the corners here, the turns are actually concrete down towards the inside of the track. He was kind of straddling that seam between the asphalt and the concrete, as you see there. And I think maybe once he got up on the two different surfaces, maybe just sent him around. Interested in seeing what maybe the 26 of Donnie Moore is dealing with as far as damage on that machine.
Yeah, and it's really not hard to do. I don't see any damage on the 26 there. He looks like he's in good shape. It's really not hard to do to get back into gas too quick here and just get her spun around. Seems like you just put the power down way too quick and it'll cost you. Yeah,
it's really a delicate dance that you have between getting on it too early and too late, and really how you approach these corners. And so Justin Morton is your leader. We had a caution at the completion of lap number 1 with Matt Shinosky second. And looks like J.R. Shepard already jumping up a couple spots. He's up to 5th. And one of the drivers we do want to keep an eye on today, James Lowe, who did miss 2 weeks ago, has already gotten a couple cars behind him. He runs 18th towards the back of the grid. We'll be keeping an eye on him, one of our hard chargers in this division.
Yeah, and I don't see him taking too awful long to get through the field tonight. He's always one to be patient and precise and moving through traffic, so it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely. With such a challenging track here, I'm really excited to see how this racing shakes out, and if we can get a sustained green flag run going. This is very different than Myrtle Beach for sure, with a track that had pretty solid two-groove racing. I mean, this track, you got to get to the bottom, and we're going to see a lot of people maybe moving other cars out of the way to make that happen.
Is it time for the chrome horns, Chris?
I think we'll be seeing them early and often. So field is doubled up right now. Pace car peeling off. And looks like we'll be going green here momentarily. Keep an eye on that 9 car. He's going to really set the pace once the green is out. And there he goes. Another great start by the 9. And that's going to allow the 00 Matt Shanoski to get off to a great start as well. The 44 of Jeffrey Harden looking to rebound.
Oh, they're wrecking again. That's rough, man. This is not something we've come to expect from these guys. Sounds like a little bit of aggression in that 2-week layoff or a week layoff is really itching them.
Ooh, yeah, looks like we got him parked on the backstretch. Looks like James Lowe was involved, as well as the 17 of Chris Wolfson. So keep an eye on the replay here. You see James Lowe taking the green for the restart. And several cars checking up there. The 17 of Wolfson goes way high. Oh, looks like they were wrecking before there. That's Belke, Sagala, Pearson. Yeah, we just turned the back straightaway into basically a parking lot. And looks like Todd Liston mixed up in that one as well. So 2 cautions, and Todd Liston has unfortunately been a passenger in both of them. So it looks like we maybe junked about the entire back half of the field on that one, Jeff.
Yeah, and from what I'm seeing, Robbie Robinson just, again, another situation where he got back into the gas a little too quick and he just spun it around and unfortunately took out or hurt a lot of cars there.
Yeah, looks like Belke, Sagala, and looks like Jeffrey Harden also going a couple laps down. Not sure what the story is there. But it looks like Harden is actually disconnected from the race. So Jeffrey Harden, who was running in the 3rd spot at the time of the caution, has left the session. So not sure what happened there, but definitely not the greatest turn of events for him. Mike Allen, our pre-race interview, stopped in the pit area. The drivers are allowed 1 fast repair, so I imagine a few of them are probably taking that after this caution.
Yeah, and it looks like James Lowe is on pit road right now, maybe getting some of that damage fixed. I don't believe he's going to take the fast repair this early in the race, but he's going to instead. Oh nope, he did go ahead and take it. So James Lowe already down his extra car tonight.
And that is also going to put him 1 lap down with how quick the caution laps click off. So we'll see if maybe they get a wave around or something later on in the event to get that lap back. But right now we have roughly a quarter of the field laps down or possibly out of the race right now, and we're only on lap number 12, working our 2nd caution of the event.
Yeah, and then, like I said, that does become such a rare event for us to even have 1 caution, let alone have 2 within a couple laps of each other. So these guys just need to settle down and go back to doing what they do best, and we'll have some really good racing tonight.
What do you think might be causing this disruption in the normal flow, Jeff? Do you think it's just everybody a little bit antsy after having a week off, or do you think maybe it's the track itself that maybe isn't quite suiting itself for the style of racing we're used to seeing?
I think it's a little bit of both. We've seen the tire spin become a factor, but I also think these guys are just so excited to get back to racing after that layoff. When you run consistently with the same group of guys, you really get a feel for them, and it almost throws you off completely when you throw a wrench into your schedule like that with the off week. So I think these guys are just really antsy to get back to work.
So it looks like lights are off on the pace car this time. They were actually coming down for the start the last time around, and race control extended the caution to get the lineup sorted out another lap. So it looks like we are going green this time as they head down the back straightaway, working the completion of caution number 2. We have 13 laps completed. 100 laps is the distance. Pace car peels off. Morton and Shanoski are going to be that front row. And Morton fires off early, It looks like Brian Dean gets a pretty solid restart. He'll be looking to the inside of Shinosky as we head into turn number 1. Don't look now, but J.R. Shepard up in that top groove as Lowell Jewell a little ways back, sliding the rear tires. Dean and
Segala's in the wall on the bottom.
So Joe Segala having problems a little further back in the field. Looks like we so far are staying green. Already Justin Morton catching a lapped car. Looks like, I believe, the 59 of Mike Allen.
Oh, and Lowell Jewell in the wall. Lowell Jewell in the wall on the backstretch there. That's...
Yeah, looks like that's going to draw the caution. So we're going to take a look here at what happened. Lowell Jewell going through the corner there. And looks like the back end just came around as it came off the corner. Maybe got on the gas a little bit too hard. We did hear Mike Allen say that the setup for this track was pretty loose in and loose off. So it looks like a little bit of oversteer maybe came out and bit Lowell Jewell in the Black Rifle coffee machine.
And it doesn't take much for that to happen. And with that toe, now he's going to have to wait. And he's going to go a couple laps down as well. So it's unfortunate for the boss man tonight.
Yeah, the rate of attrition here working in Justin Morton's favor. He's led every lap so far and really only had to do about 3 laps of green flag racing.
Uh-oh, don't look now. You see who just passed the leader on the outside? Getting that lap back. Mr. James Lowe.
James Lowe, who was second in the points before our event 2 weeks ago at Myrtle Beach, unfortunately was not able to join us. And as we mentioned in the pre-race show, he is a native of Virginia, so you got to believe the historic Martinsville Speedway has a very special place in his heart. This track, ironically enough, with this being the Bootleg Racing League, this track was one of the very first tracks on the NASCAR schedule. Used to be a flat half-mile dirt track. You can look back in the history books, and the original catch fence, if you want to call it that, around this speedway was pretty much a wooden fence. So a lot's changed at Martinsville Speedway over the years.
A lot has changed, and with the addition of lights to the real track just last year, I was really excited to see them go here this spring. And unfortunately, with everything going on, I just seen the announce they had to push that race back, so that's unfortunate. Hopefully we'll still get that night race.
I'm hoping so. NASCAR seems pretty set on still running the full 36 race schedule, so we'll see how that works out, but looks like once all this shakes out, it's going to be a good time to be a race fan.
It's always a great time to be a race fan. This is a great sport, and then we've shown even with some of the events in the last couple of weeks, we've shown that nothing really tears the racing community apart.
Well, maybe a couple things, but we won't touch on those. We are working lap 21 right now. The field is doubled up with Justin Morton and now Brian Dean to his outside. But restarting right behind Morton is going to be the 98 of J.R. Shepard, your defending champion and current points leader. They're going to roll off at turn 4. Morton fires off as the green flag is back out. And J.R. Shepard already to the inside of Dean for that runner-up position. Donnie Moore slides in there to move into the 4th spot as well. And Ruben Altice, the man on the move, he's already up there in the mix. As Justin Morton continues to lead, J.R. Shepard takes command of that runner-up position now. And just like that, caution flag is back out.
Looks like Wolfson and 71 of John Hine, who was making his move up through the field too.
Yeah, Wolfson got a couple cautions under his belt now, unfortunately for him. We watch the replay here. Heading into, I believe that's turn 3. Oh, he hopped the curb. As you can see, by the way the car's bouncing there, they do have a pretty pronounced curb on the inside radius of the turn. And looks like, unfortunately, the 17 of Wolfson just hopped that curb, and that will just completely upset the handling, especially under braking. Whoo, and look at that save by Austin Belke. He's got the Superman shield on the hood of that car, and he looked like Superman saving it through that wreck.
Yeah, great move by Belke to kind of keep it out of the wreck there.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading down pit road, I'm guessing for a change of shorts.
And with that curb that you touched on, you really have to balance how close you get to it, because if you get too close to it and you rub it, it doesn't take much to send these cars for a ride. But if you leave too much down there, then I mean that's valuable real estate that you could use to maybe get a better exit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a track where if somebody can get their nose underneath you, chances are you're getting moved, as we've seen in the real world and on the iRacing service. But unfortunately, that's a real razor-thin margin that you're playing with. As soon as you get too close to that curb, it can very well, if you don't hop the curb, if you hit it just right, it'll shoot you up the track, which could be detrimental to your racing endeavors. But if you hop the curb and go over it, especially when you're under braking, you're basically a passenger at that point. You're going around one way or the other.
Yeah, and as you said, if you hit that curb and get shot out of the groove, you know, that just opens the door for the guy behind you. And there's not too many people that are going to wait for an opportunity like that, and it can really, really cost you, because you're not only going to lose it to that guy, but maybe if the guy behind him is close enough, you're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. This is not a track that breeds patience by any stretch of the imagination. So if a driver has an opportunity, they're going to take it. There's just not a lot of room for passing out here. So any opportunity these drivers will take. So now we're working lap number 27 right now. It's Justin Morton leading over JR Shepard. Pace car is in. We're going green this time. And Morton, spins the wheels a little bit on the start. That allows Shepard to pull alongside on the outside, but that is not the easy way around here at Martinsville. That may be opening the door. And Shepard gets loose off a 2. He is able to pull down, so Brian Dean not able to capitalize, but Shepard, unfortunately, having to settle back into the second slot. And a beautiful shot here down the straightaway as Morton continues to lead. Just a very small, about half car length advantage over Shepard. Brian Dean in the 23 looking to make his move up. And Donnie Moore and Matt Shinosky doing battle for the 4th spot. Looks like Moore may have gotten a little bit loose off the corner there. Not too bad. As a JR Shepard, you can see it flashing across your screen, sets the fastest lap of the race. So that's probably not what you want to hear if you're Justin Morton in the 9 car.
Oh, and you got to know that Justin Morton is feeling the pressure from JR Shepard. Just knowing he's back there is sometimes hard to manage.
Now, when you're racing against somebody that has a reputation like JR Shepard of being such a dominant driver, Jeff, does that maybe get into your head a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. You have to take that into consideration. When you're racing a guy like JR Shepard, you have to know that you have to be almost perfect, because if you don't, he's going to take advantage of it. And JR's showed us many, many times he's very patient, but you don't dare slip up in front of him.
So we are getting a few green laps under our belt right now as Justin Morton continuing to lead. This is our longest green flag stretch so far. Gonna take a look back. Oh, and caution flag is out. And the 17 of Chris Wolfson, his night goes from terrible to terribler. You can see him coming off the corner here as we take a look at the replay. The Hamlin's Automotive machine. And just gets loose out of the corner, it looks like, Jeff.
Yeah, and it's just another situation where you just put the power down way too quick, and it'll just make you pay. And you got to learn how to manage that, even on these short runs. You know, and I'm wondering if that may be coming into play too, Chris. These short runs, you're getting warming on the tires and then either cooling off real quick, and I'm wondering if that's coming into play here quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's probably not helping these drivers' psyche that we're ran so many laps behind the caution, or under caution, I should say. It's, this is a track that's not easy to pass on. We mentioned that quite a bit. And with that, we're also quickly running out of laps that we can get in. I mean, we're over a third of the distance through this race, and we've probably only ran maybe a handful of green flag laps. That's not a lot of time to make any moves at a track where it's already very difficult to pass.
And it's only going to get worse as we get later in the race. These guys are going to get more impatient, and they're going to want to push a little harder, and that may keep this trend of cautions going on. But these guys have shown many times that they are the best on the service, so I'm hoping they settle it out.
Yeah, we might have to distribute some chill pills to these guys or something. I mean, it's been elbows out since literally lap number 1, and unfortunately a lot of aggressive driving out there. But even with the limited green flag runs we've had, just by, for the most part, staying out of trouble. Look at James Lowe, started 20th. He's up to 8th. So a driver that we've said to keep an eye on is definitely someone to keep an eye on as he's marched his way up, cut through over half the field. He now runs inside of the top 10.
Yeah, and you have to tip your hat to Todd Liston as well, running up there in 6th after he's had 2 run-ins with these cautions. So great job, Todd. Way to battle back.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's easier to talk about drivers have not been in a caution today.
There's certainly a few of them.
All right, so field is doubling up. Lights are off on the pace car. So we'll hope that maybe the 8th time is the charm. Getting this one green. So it's still Justin Morton out in front. He's led every lap so far. JR Shepard on his outside. Morton spun the wheels on that last start, but looks like he's got the hammer down, and he's doing just fine this time by. And JR Shepard running about half a groove up, almost allows Brian Dean to get in there, but he shuts the door as they exit turn number 2. Shepard beginning to peek to the inside of Morton, maybe realizing that getting to the front quicker might be the smarter move.
Yeah, and JR did a great job of handling restarts on the outside there. A lot better than maybe we've seen in the first few restarts. So great job getting going there.
Yeah, and Justin Morton slid the rear tires on that last exit there, as we have a battle going on for the 4th spot between Donnie Moore and Matt Shinoski. And Justin Morton now goes to the top of the speed charts with a 21:12, a pretty quick lap for as deep into this race as we are. But as we say that, JR Shepard is right on his back bumper there. Do you think maybe we see an uncharacteristic chrome horn come out of the 98?
I think it's still too early for JR to give him the chrome horn, but I think Justin Morton, with that fast lap, he's definitely showing that he's running from JR Shepard.
So we're going to hop on board here with Shepard, and he gets right up to the back bumper on Justin Morton. I mean, begins to take a peek as they come off the corner, but JR Shepard is a driver that's notorious for biding his time and making the move at the right time.
Oh, absolutely. He's a very patient guy. He knows when and when not to make the move, and he is just waiting for Morton to slip up, maybe feeling the pressure a little bit too much, and he's going to jump.
Yeah, I mean, it is great watching here. Just you can see exactly the razor thin margin we talk about. We'll take a look here as he heads into turn 1. And caution on the Speedway. But as a
Brad Speidel
yes,
gone around.
Yep, Speidel having some issues out there. So it looks like the 76 of Speidel gonna be caught up in that last caution as we head over to the replay. All right, you can see, looks like some problems for the 8 car of Liston. Shower of sparks coming off. And looks like he and Ruben Altice actually just banged doors and unfortunately sent the 76 machine around.
Just 2 guys looking for the same real estate, and it just didn't work out for, unfortunately for Speidel.
Just 2 dudes slapped doors and unfortunately did not go Speidel's way. So he ended up parked against the inside retaining wall. So we've got a few drivers heading down pit road to possibly get some repairs. This has definitely been a race where we've seen quite a few quick repairs used up, Jeff.
Yeah, and unfortunately we had a few very early in the race, so a lot of guys like Lowe and Liston maybe don't have that extra car sitting in the bag, and they're really going to have to be a little bit more careful.
Now, you can say, though, this has created opportunity. A lot of drivers that started deeper in the field have moved up. You know, you got John Hine, who is in the 10th position right now after starting 19th. As we are closing in on the halfway point now, we're about to begin lap number 49. So a lot of time under caution, Jeff, but what do you think as the sun's going down here? What do you think we can expect in the latter half of this race?
Well, hopefully these guys calm down a little bit and they settle in, and we'll have some green flag laps here. But there's definitely gonna be some that are on edge here, running out of laps. Maybe guys later, farther in the field, that just are trying to get through. James Lowe has made his way up to 8th, so he's definitely going to be pushing a little bit harder here later in these laps here.
Yeah, but do you think these caution laps are going to help our leader Justin Morton with somebody like J.R. Shepard right in his mirror? Do you think this is a positive for him, or do you think he just wants to get this green and get this underway?
I know myself, if I was sitting in Morton's shoes, I'm watching J.R. Shepard even under these caution laps, knowing that he's right there is maybe playing a little bit of a head game and to myself. And we know Morton is very strong mentally, and he's shown multiple times that he can handle the pressure, but knowing that he's right there, it definitely could play a factor later here in this race.
All right, we have the pace car pulling off. It's still Morton and Shepard are going to be your front row on this restart. Brian Dean and Donnie Moore, row number 2. Matt Shinosky and Todd Liston, row 3. Green flag is out. Morton gets a great restart. He'll have Shepard clear by the time they get to turn number 1. It's now Brian Dean and Donnie Moore. Donnie Moore way up the track. That's going to open the door for Todd Liston in car number 8 to slip through. And Matt Shinosky going to follow him as well. So Donnie Moore, the victim of the freight train here at Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, and we touched on that early, that if you get up out of the groove, you have to really guard that bottom line just so that you don't get freight trained right away.
Yeah, this track is much defense as it is offense as far as these drivers go. As you see Morton with a big wiggle off of turn 2. Shepard not able to capitalize. He may have gotten out of it to avoid piling in.
You definitely have to have self-awareness here and really know what's going on around you, because if you do get a spin in front of you, there's not really anywhere to go. So that's unfortunate, as Morton has now to deal with the lap car as he just pulls up down and out of the way.
And that was the 71 and John Hine, who's had a rough go of it today. He got mixed up on one of our cautions earlier, one of the many cautions earlier. Now, one thing to speak on here, Jeff, with that inside wall, does it possibly obstruct your ability to kind of see what's coming up when you're going through the corners?
Oh, absolutely. I've had many times where I just come around the corner and you get to that wall and you're just basically hoping for the best and hoping that nobody's spun out there at the exit of the corner. So it's a rough track. You really have to be mentally prepared for it.
As we see, we're on board with the 9 of Justin Morton looking back at JR Shepard. A great view here from the back of the 9 machine. You can see, as you see Shepard almost brush into the wall there. You can see how ill handling this this setup seems to have left these cars. We are in the twilight time setup here. The sun is setting here in Ridgeway, Virginia. So that's going to affect the handle as well as the track cools off.
Yeah, hopefully with that cooler track, maybe these guys will be able to settle in a little bit, not be so worried about driving hard off.
So we're going to jump back a little bit, battling going on around the 9th position. Jason Menda has the position, but he's got a train of cars behind him. Kurt Smith in the 6th machine, Robbie Robinson, there we go. Bruce Pearson and Chris Wolfson in the mix as well. These are all drivers that have seen quite a bit of action on the track today, Jeff.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not so much the action that they've really wanted. So it's unfortunate, but it is Martinsville. So come to know.
Yeah, the 45 machine of Jason Menda, native of Pensacola, Florida, is out there trying to soak up some sun as the sun is setting in Ridgeway, Virginia. And looks like it's a nice little line of cars he's got behind him as he puts a little bit of space between the cars behind him. Robbie Robinson got it right that time, was beginning to look to the inside of Kurt Smith. Not able to make anything happen yet, but maybe the drivers are starting to take things a little bit more careful as fewer of them remain than we had at the start.
Ooh, Donnie Moore slips up the track and James Lowe takes advantage and slides into the 6th position, and that's definitely the situation you have to be in. You just have to take advantage of maybe the slip-ups here late in the run.
Yeah, that's going to be the easiest way to make a pass here at Martinsville, is hoping the person in front of you makes a mistake. And as we've seen today, these cars are a lot to handle. So we're seeing quite a few little slip-ups that are opening the door. And James Lowe up to the 6th position, as looks like the 81 of Joe Segala may have gone around. He's definitely out of shape. Yeah, it looks like a caution being thrown. I believe it's going to be for the 81 of Segala. I just caught that one out of the corner of my eye. Looks like he just got out of shape trying to avoid the lead lap cars, and looks like it just kind of hooked on him. Oh, he actually was riding the wall down the straightaway.
Looks like the safer barrier there just kicked him off of it a little bit, and he tried to save it and wasn't able to save it.
Yeah, looks like he was trying to get out of the way of the lead lap cars, and unfortunately created a bit of a situation. So just over a half an hour into this one, 66 is the lap number we're at of 100. And we're going to get a word with our 2nd place runner right now, JR Shepard. JR, thanks for joining us. You're looking pretty sporty out there today. How's the ride feeling?
Feels me good. Really loose on throttle and trying to manage it, but yeah, I need like 20 or 30 green flag laps to get the car comfortable for me, and we're just not getting there so far.
Now you've gotten right up that back bumper on the 9 car. How tempting is it to just maybe give him a little nudge out of the way?
Yeah, he's driving pretty hard. It looks like he's spinning the tires a little bit more than I am at times, so it's tempting, but we try to race clean, and like I said, I just need a long run to get the car where I need it.
Now, if we see this trend continuing on with the cautions every few laps, it seems like, what do you have to do to make victory possible today?
I think I'm gonna have to get lucky on a restart. If we keep having these cautions, I'm gonna have Justin make a little bit of a mistake in 1 and 2 for me to have a shot.
Well, what are your predictions for how the rest of this race plays out?
I was hoping we'd get a green flag run after the halfway point, but I'm not sure we're going to get there. So I think it's probably going to come down to like a 10-lap shootout at some point.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. JR, thanks for joining us.
Yep, appreciate you guys. Thanks.
That's our defending champion, JR Shepard, native of the Volunteer State, with us here tonight. He runs in the second spot. A couple victories on his season already, Jeff, and he does sit atop the point standing, so you got to believe he's one of the championship favorites.
Yeah, and we heard it straight from the horse's mouth, if you will. He is, just as we've said, he's just waiting for Morton to maybe make a mistake that he can take advantage of, and I tip my hat to him for wanting to keep it as clean as possible.
Definitely a sportsman-like move when not necessarily what you have to do to make the pass happen. So pace car peeling off. It's still Morton and Shepard up front. Justin Morton leading all 69 laps that'll be completed by the time we get back to the line. Green flag is back out. A pretty clean start from both drivers. And Shepard trying to hang on the outside, but we've seen that is not very easy to do here at Martinsville Speedway. But nonetheless, he is still digging on that outside line. Is that going to maybe allow the 23 of Brian Dean to sneak up in there and try to take the position away? The 8-car Todd Liston, all kinds of squirrely there off of turn 4. Shepard still hanging with Morton on the outside. Oh, and Shepard gets loose. That's going to allow the 23 of Dean to pull alongside as they head into turn number 3. An uncharacteristic slip up for our defending champion. He's now stuck on the outside. Matt Shinosky in the 00 sticking his nose as well. Shinosky falling back in line now. A lucky break for Shepard. He very well could have been hung out on that outside groove for a lot longer than he was.
Yeah, and you got to think in Morton's head that maybe that was a little bit of a stress relief, knowing that Shepard did slip back and he can kind of coast here for a few minutes before Brian Dean gets to him. So lucky break for not only for JR for not slipping back any farther, but maybe Justin Morton for being able to relieve some of that pressure.
Yeah, Morton getting a couple car lengths free of Brian Dean, and now the onus is on the 98 of JR Shepard to now have to work his way back up, not only around Dean, but also get back up to Morton as we are working lap number 74, just shy of 3/4 of the way through this event. Brian Dean actually gets a little bit of a slip up off the corner there.
Yeah, and if you look a little farther back here, we see that orange car, James Lowe, making his way up there. He's up to 5th from starting 20th, so he's not far back there. We'll see if we can make a move.
Yeah, we're looking back from the 00 Matt Shinosky at the number 99 Dodge Charger as James Lowe gets his nose in there, but hasn't quite made the move yet. He's marched up from 20th spot to now be in the top 5, a great recovery drive. Justin Morton with probably the biggest lead we've seen him have all night. Just over a half second over the 23 of Brian Dean. And that's got to be a huge relief for him as we continue keeping an eye on Shinosky and Lowe. Probably the closest battle on the track. Lowe sails it in there. Looks like Shinosky a later apex than James Lowe. How's that going to change maybe their different drives off, Jeff?
Yeah, it's definitely going to give Lowe a little bit of an advantage on the exit as he can really turn down and maybe get a nose underneath Shinosky here as they get on the straightaways. But oh, it looks like Lowe might have slipped up a little bit, and we got a caution.
Caution on the speedway, checking timing and scoring to see where the incident may have occurred. And Todd Liston with some issues there. You can see him spinning down the front straightaway. We'll hop on board here, and looks like he jumped the curb, and it just unfortunately got away from him on exit, put the throttle down a little bit too hard too soon, and ends up facing the wrong direction. So that's going to be the reason for the caution. But now how about this, Jeff? On the next restart, JR Shepard's now going to be on the inside right behind Justin Morton.
Yeah, and that's going to maybe give him a little bit of... The way Brian Dean's been able to get these restarts going too, and Morton, if he doesn't get a jump here, JR might take advantage of him, and that's unfortunate. It's just not going to work out. And look at this, Chris. It's going to be Morton, Shepard, and Lowe on the bottom line.
Now that is a stacked inside line on this restart. And of course, with Brian Dean, Matt Shinosky, and Donnie Moore on the outside, it is going to be a dogfight for everybody fighting for that inside line.
Definitely going to have to keep it tight here as they go down into 1 and 2 and not give any room to that outside line in order to keep this a 3-dog fight, if you will.
We are under 20 laps to go. Hoping to get some good green flag runs in here towards the end, but the pay window is going to be opening up here soon, Jeff.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to have to take advantage of any slip-ups. As we've seen, I think our longest run has been about 10 laps, so you're not going to get that extended long green flag run to where you can maybe take advantage of tires or of fatigue, if you will, I guess, here late in the run.
Yeah, we just have the laps just dropping off here, and I'm really interested in seeing how this race will play out, as we have 15 cars still on the lead lap, despite everything that we've seen go on tonight. Very few cars left out there that haven't seen some kind of altercation on the track. But cars are doubling up now, Jeff, getting ready to go green. It's Justin Morton and now Brian Dean back to the outside of that front row.
Yeah, and this might work out to JR's advantage here if he can stay close to Morton's bumper on the restart.
Well, we'll see what happens as they roll off at turn 4. Justin Morton fires off early. Shepard rolling with him. Shepard will now be to the inside of Dean as we get into turn number 1. And James Lowe around Shinosky. And now he'll slot in the 4th position as Brian Dean has been passed. The 98 of J.R. Shepard back up to 2nd. But now Dean is going to have a bumper fold the 99 of James Lowe. Lowe has marched all the way up from 20th position to be in 4th place. So you can only wonder how much good is left on the tires on the 99 machine as we close in on 15 laps to go.
Yeah, and Lowe and Shepard are just begging for no more restarts here so that they can just make some work on these guys. You see James Lowe get loose there, and like you said, how much new was left on that tire?
Yeah, especially sliding the car around like at this point. But James Lowe has one of those drivers that almost seems to thrive with a looser setup, and marching up through the field like that is a testament to that. As we're going to take a look from the hood of J.R. Shepard, once again, dangerously close to that 9 car of Justin Morton. They could just about sniff each other from where they're running on the track. But Morton holding strong up there on the top spot. But J.R. Shepard just waiting for Morton to slip up and he can take advantage.
Yeah, and I believe JR did give him a little bit of a nudge there. And speaking of sniffing, that brings a whole new meaning to this whole 3-dog fight here.
And caution on the Speedway once again. All right, we're going to take a look here what we think may have been the root cause of this incident. Looks like the 56 of Robbie Robinson up way out of the groove. Ada Liston gets a little bit squirrely. And, ooh, Robinson. And looks like that may have been the 59 of Mike Allen.
I'm not one to make accusations, but that looked like a little bit of frustration building there as he just drove it in there and kind of rattled his cage a little bit too much, if you will.
Yeah, that may have been slightly more than a rattle. So
Hey,
we have...
He didn't mean to do anything, but all he wanted to do was rattle his cage. Just remember, All he wanted to do was rattle his cage. He didn't mean to dump him.
Something is Dale. We are working lap 90 of 100 right now, so going to be definitely within 10 to go by the time this race gets back underway. It's Morton and Shepard, your front row now. J.R. Shepard's going to be in that outside line with James Lowe right behind him. Brian Dean will have the benefit of being on the inside in P3. So it's going to be an interesting final run here.
Yeah, and if I'm James Lowe and J.R. Shepard, it's time to go. Morton's got to be very, very mentally tough here, and we've seen him be in this situation before where he was leading the whole race, and then on the final restart, if this is it, he has been in a situation before where he slipped up and it cost him the whole race, and it was unfortunate.
Well, you've heard the phrase used before that he's got the whole world behind him. Well, he's got your defending champion and the previous championship runner-up, one of the fastest drivers on the track, and then just a stack of great talent behind him. So it's literally Justin Morton versus the world right now with these final 9 laps that we have to get under our belt before we determine a victor.
Yeah, and we got to give it to Justin Morton. He's stayed up front. With or without the cautions, he's done a great job of getting the restarts and staying out front and just doing a fantastic drive here tonight.
So field doubling up right now. That means a pretty good sign that we're going green here shortly. Lights are off on the pit car, or the safety car. And it's going to be really interesting how Morton plays this off. Also, with 92 laps on those tires, you got to be worried about maybe a slip up. As we come off before green flag is out, looks like for the most part, maybe the 23 of Dean might have slid the wheels a little bit. Nonetheless, everybody pretty much in lockstep towards the front. Shepard actually doing a really solid job of hanging on. But this came to bite him before.
They're pulling even with Morton there as they go down the back stretch here, the front stretch here. This is gonna be interesting. Oh, did he get him at the line? No, Morton still holds the lead. Wow, that was close. That was almost disaster for Justin Morton.
That could have been a game changer, as it looks like the 59 of Mike Allen. Looks like Todd Liston maybe caught up in another one here today, so his night not going to plan. Oh, the 6 of Kurt Smith spun off the corner, and just Liston was a passenger on that one.
And it looks like just another situation where he got a little bit too much gas, and yep, just a little bit too much gas on the exit, and just spun him around.
Yeah, Liston had nowhere to go on that one. Smith just lost it off the corner, too much throttle, and just a tough break for the 8 machine.
This is going to be a fun few last laps here. JR's not going to be patient, and we've seen him be able to pull sideways with Morton here, so he's going to have to give him some pressure. I'd say JR has to hold him down on that curb and hope that maybe Morton slips up and catches it a little bit.
Now, they do not do green-white checker finishes in the Bootleg Racing League. With 4 to go, it might be pretty close to get this one in under green.
I'd say the next caution will end it, so Shepard's definitely got to do a great job of putting the pressure on Morton here as we tick down the laps.
That's 3 to go as they're on the track. The lights are still on the pace car this time, and I'm not seeing the field make a huge jump to get double file yet. And seeing that the 76 of Brad Speidel has retired from this event. He's over 11 laps down. So lights are still staying on,
I believe
Jeff.
this one's over, Chris.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see this one end under caution, unfortunately. But great for Justin Morton, who led the entire way. So we'll see confirmation here shortly, but looks like we're going to see this one end under caution. Jeff, what are your thoughts here of what we saw here today at Martinsville?
It was a rough race, but it's what you come to expect here a little bit here at Martinsville, because it is a tough track to drive, and you get antsy because you want to put the pedal down, you want to get back into the gas, and you just can't. And we've seen so many times tonight where that was the case. They just wanted to get back in the gas, and it spun them around. And Justin Morton did a great job on the restarts, making sure nobody else could really get to him. James Lowe fight through the field and just ran out of laps. J.R. Shepard putting the pressure on Morton, but just these guys just ran out of laps here late in the race. And again, hats off to Justin Morton for making sure on the restarts that he didn't make any mistakes.
So as they cross line, Justin Morton will take the victory, leading all 100 laps here today at Martinsville Speedway, with J.R. Shepard coming home behind him. And with that, we are going to head to a very quick break so we can water our commentators, take a look at the screen coming by for upcoming races, and when we get back, we'll give you the results and interviews with our top 3 finishers here at Martinsville, Virginia. All right, we are back here at Martinsville Speedway. Just saw the completion of 100 laps for the Bootleg Racing League. And with that, we are going to give you the breakdown of our finishing order. Justin Morton leads all 100 laps to take victory here over J.R. Shepard. Brian Dean in the second position. James Lowe marching from 20th position to come home in 4th. Donnie Moore completing the top 5 with Matt Shinosky coming home 6th. Jason Menda 7th. Ruben Altice coming home in the pole position spot for next week. Chris Wolfson survives a wild and woolly race to come home in 9th. And Bruce Pearson will complete our top 10.
Kurt Smith 11th, Robbie Robinson 12th, Todd Liston, after all his issues tonight, makes the 13th. Mike Allen, our pre-race interview, was 14th. Austin Belkey finishes 1 lap down. John Hine, Joe Segala, Brad Speidel, Mike Holloway with a rough night. Lowell Jewell, the boss, just a really rough night. And Jeffrey Harden, we've seen him tap out early in the race here. We'll finish out the field.
All right, we're going to catch up now with our winner tonight, the 9 car of Justin Morton. Justin spent a lot of time behind the pace car today, but when you did get to race, how was the car feeling for you tonight?
I'm sure it looked like it. Man, that thing was loose. I haven't driven a car that loose at Martinsville in I think ever.
Now, anyone you want to thank that has made this race possible for you?
I thank my team, TDR. Crew Shop for sponsoring the series, you guys for doing the broadcasts, and Lowell for putting together this series.
All right, Lanier next week. What are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, come again?
We have Lanier next race on the schedule next week. What are your thoughts on that track?
I like Lanier. It's going to be an interesting race to run. Definitely going to be bottom dominant like Martinsville was this week. Going to be starting 8th, so I'm going to have to work my way through the traffic, and hopefully I can follow JR through that.
There you go. Well, Justin, we appreciate you stopping in and talking to us. Congratulations on the victory.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Jeff, and I believe you're catching up with our runner-up tonight, JR Shepard.
JR, we got with you about halfway through this race, and you said you needed a 20-lap run, and we saw that late there in the race. How did it feel? You know, not a lot of green flag laps. Do you think you could have gotten to him?
Yeah, if I had more laps, we could have had a good race. Don't know if I'd have been able to get by him, but I needed more laps on my tires, and just to get some heat in them to the right temperature for myself and my driving style. And some of those guys were shifting early, so they'd pull away a little bit, but I think we could have closed it up. And just way too many cautions tonight. I thought on that last restart that I had a slip on one of the restarts and lost a position. So I learned my lesson on how to drive the outside. And that last restart, I thought I was going to be able to at least inch forward on Justin a little bit and have a shot at trying to win the thing. And caution came out. So that's the way it goes. He ran a great race. It was a good battle tonight.
Yeah, we saw you be able to pull up next to him quite a few times there tonight and just do a great job of when you did get that opportunity to race to pull next to him. We honestly thought that you did get him on that one restart. We also made the comment that you could have and didn't rattle his cage. So hats off to you. Going into Lanier next week, how do you feel about going there?
Yeah, I definitely try to race everybody clean. Had to check up a few times tonight, but that's what I try to do, and hopefully guys return that next week at Lanier and moving forward. So Lanier is going to be a tough track, and there's different ways to drive it. So there's probably going to be a lot of things that look like dive bombs that really aren't. So it's going to be important to protect the bottom of the track. But I think late in the race, if you can get to the outside of somebody, you're going to be able to make ground there too. So it's just going to depend on how you take care of your equipment and how much of the tire you use up.
Absolutely. Great job tonight. And I believe, Chris, you have Brian Dean.
That's right. Our third place finisher tonight, Brian Dean. Brian, looked like a pretty solid run for you today. Tell us about it.
Well, it was pretty good. Unlike last week where I had to wear my stuff out getting to the front, I was able to ride tonight. I was waiting for them guys to finally start mixing it up, and we only got about one lap of that, which is unfortunate.
All right, Brian. We have Lanier coming up next week. What are your thoughts on that track?
Oh, I haven't driven these cars there, but generally I'm pretty good. It's nice and short. Hopefully it goes less cautions. It's pretty wide. We should be pretty good there.
All right, and who would you like to thank that made today possible for you?
The people that made my PC and Logitech for me. No, just the guys at BRL. They're great to race with. I had fun racing with them tonight for sure. It was a good night. And you guys and the Crew Shop. I forgot them last week.
All right, well, thanks again for joining us, Brian. Congratulations on a good run, and we'll hopefully be talking to you next week as well.
I hope so. Thanks, guys.
All right, and with that, do want to give some special shout-outs here as we wrap things up here from Martinsville Speedway. Want to thank again the Crew Shop, our series sponsor. You can catch them at 260-755-6125 or thecrewshopfw.com. Want to thank the Bootleg Racing League for allowing us to host their events. And we want to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And of course, thanks to all of our friends here today, Jeff, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. or find us on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC Graham, _ Graham, excuse me. And if you'd like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store, gsrc.storeenvy.com. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page, hit that big red subscribe button, and ring the bell so you'll get notified of all the great racing action here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Next race for this series will be at Lanier National Speedway next Saturday, April 25th, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. We go live. We also have several upcoming races for other series, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.